Hello YouTubers, and welcome to the channel Custom Handrails, and my name is Earl, and the topic today is called the volute, with a subtitle of Back to the Future. So the volute, let's talk about that first of all. The volute to me in a stairway is just like an amazing man in a tuxedo that is walking towards you with his hand outstretched and a big smile to introduce you to the flight of stairs that you're about to go up. And it's just a graceful, beautiful, wood sculptured way to introduce you to the quality and the feel of what you're going to experience on your journey up the stairs. And it just begs you to take a hold of it and to feel the curves and to feel secure in the quality of hanging onto that thing and ascending up the stairs. So we're going to get started in this with a little talk about Back to the Future. We're going to talk about my past that we're going to go back to, and my future as well, where I've ended up in this journey. And we're going to also talk about stair building in general, its past and its future. Years ago, if you were a wood mechanic and wanted employment in a stair building shop, you may not have been told very much. The person running the shop kept a lot of secrets and didn't share a lot of things. But in the late 1800s, there began a movement to publish some of the methods that were being used to be able to reproduce handrail and to lay out stairs in a beautiful way. And that, to me, was almost in the stair building world like the invention of the printing press, and how it changed in time of Reformation to put in the hands of the common man all kinds of literature. And it brought about at the Age of Enlightenment. And the same holds true with these books that were written in that time period after these were published, and the carpenters were able to open these books and to examine them and to be able to say, hey, you know, this is pretty cool, I can do this. And they went about to study that work, and we had what we would sometimes call the golden age of stair building back in that period of time, where they reproduced some incredible stairways, and the craftsmen in those days with hand tools, the things they were able to do were just amazing. So where we're at now is another chapter in stair building. And what has changed it is technology. We have 3D drawing programs that you can sit down and doodle and draw a stairway and make it look really great. And it's not just like Photoshop, putting pictures together. This is real. It has coordinates in real time that can be reproduced, and there's also the technology that's really marching across the land with the CNC machines. You can buy software today, stair building software, that all you have to do is plug in information and you know, a number of dialog boxes: rise, run, curve, straight, landings, no landings, height of the floor to floor, and pick out the handrail profile, the balusters, the type of wood, and hit the button, and you have a beautifully displayed stairway completely done that you can take to the customer and show them. And if that wouldn't be enough, you can put on a pair of 3D goggles and you are in the room with that stairway, and you can practically walk up and down the thing. So come on, you know, no wonder there's been changes in the industry for the better. But this all comes at a price. Not everyone is in that bracket to have all this equipment at hand. It all is expensive as well. And so there are a number of people that are maybe financially not able to get involved in it, or they just don't buy into the tech world completely. Whatever the reason is, they still have an interest. It's like the guys that started the Windsor chair movement, you know, getting a shave horse and spoke shaves and all that, and making a Windsor chair from a log out in your yard. So there, you are able still, with simple tools, just like it was back in the day when these books were written, to be able to reproduce a piece of handrail accurately and beautifully with just some simple tools. Now look, I started out with something like this, a plastic adjustable triangle, and one of these, a pencil. Do we use pencils anymore in some of the world we live in? Yes, we can still do it that way. I had a folding drawing board with a horizontal plastic fence on pulleys that you could slide up and down and keep parallel. And that's basically how I started drawing. And there was nothing wrong with it. It worked. These books that are written, that's all you really need. So I feel like the last video I did on Is Tangent Handrailing Dead kind of left you with the idea that that old world system was great, but we're moving on now and we have something better. Well, that may be true, and I personally have moved on to something that I feel works better and faster and easier. But where do you go if you're just starting out in this and you don't necessarily have all the high-tech equipment or even want it? You still want to get out in your shop and do something like this. Well, we're going to attempt to do that in this video. I've picked out a handrail profile that I believe that from a rectangular squared out wreath piece, you could probably carve this all right. It doesn't have a lot of quirks and beads and detail in it. So that was the reason why I picked this particular profile for this video, so that after you square it out, you, with some simple tools, would probably be able to scrape this thing in, carve it in. Whatever method you use, I think you could probably reproduce it. So we're going to go back to your future, hopefully. But we have to go back to the old drawing systems that are laid down in these books. So we're going to take from this book the way that he lays out a volute. And I think it's a great method. That's what I still use, even with technology that I have today. I go back to his method. 125 years ago that was laid down. And I like the way that he sets it up. It's simple, and you can reproduce a beautiful volute with his method. So we're going to go into laying it out in my drawing program, which I think is starting to call me right now, my Rhino drawing program. And we're going to lay this thing out so that we can reproduce it. You don't have to do it in a drawing program. And I'm hoping that sometime soon I'm going to start a couple classes in the shop for people who are interested to reproduce these things with nothing but a pencil and paper and a few simple drawing tools, to be able to reproduce this and take it to the bandsaw and square it out and hopefully even do a little bit of shaping. So that's my desire for this whole video series on the volute. So was there anything else I wanted to say before we get started? I don't think so. So let's jump right into Rhino and start the process. Let's get to it. Here we are in Rhino, and you don't see anything, do you? No. All right, let me turn something on for us here. This is the profile of the volute that we're going to make. A simple profile here, R15 type profile, and it's basically going to be the same configuration. A nice scroll here, and we're going to also be making the two wreath fittings to make the 180-degree drop on this volute. So the process that we're going to use for this, making this volute, is laid out very nicely in Mowat's book on the volute. So I'm not telling any secrets here. It's all written down. You just have to do the research or click on my video and we'll walk right through it. So we're going to start out with the handrail profile here, being 2 1/4 high and 1 2 5/8 wide. So we're going to take that width and we're going to draw a line here, 2 5/8 long. We're going to divide that into 4 equal sections, and then we're going to expand that out and duplicate it, the same segments out, 11 segments, I'm sorry. So now we have a line set up here that we're going to plug in right in the middle here between the 6 and 7 segments, a square that's the length between number 6 and 7. And we're going to throw in some diagonals here from the center point between those 2 points. And from that center point, we're going to draw a circle. And the circle is going to be an arc that's the length from the center point out to our number 4 point. Remember that one came in here to play with the length of the rail, or the width of the rail right here. Now we're going to start putting some arcs in here. So we're going to use this square here to start our drawing of the arcs at different points on this square. So let's start with the first one, which is taken from point number 7. Point number 7 up to point number 4, and an arc 90 degrees around here. And there you have that. Now we're going to continue this around, but in order to make this thing grow, we're going to have to lengthen our arc length. So we're going to jump over here to this point here for our next arc length, and everything will be starting and tangent to the previous arc. So we're going to go right around now. We'll start on this point and draw another 90-degree arc and keep on going around. And from this point here, we're going to increase the size of our square because we want to be able to increase our arc length. So we're going to go to the center point of the segment 5 and 6, and the same down here between 7 and 8, and draw another square and extend those diagonals out to the corner. So we're going to go off of point F now, E and F, off of the larger square. And we're going to keep going around the same way. And another one. And offset. We're going to offset the width of our rail, as this is the outside of our handrail profile. So we're going to offset that in 2 5/8 all the way around and put some joint lines in there. So now we've got our volute drawn. A little bit of a conversation on the way things are done today. We are a backwards generation. We should start with a handrail that we're going to use in a project and decide how the stairs are going to be built based on the handrail flow and profile up through that stairway. And unfortunately, today we do things backwards. We get a drawing and email, and it has the stairs already laid out, and a lot of times they're already built. And now they want you to do the handrail. And if they could have just talked to me sooner, they would have been able to make a much nicer flow on the handrail around the transitions by just altering where they're starting and stopping their different flights on landings, or even like the size of the bullnose tread like we're going to go into right now. So usually you get presented with the layout. It already has the bullnose tread laid down with all the standard dimensions. And I'd like to say that it would be nice if we could just make the bullnose tread to fit our volute. Does that make any sense? Nah, that's backwards, isn't it? Okay, so let's lay out some treads here. 10-inch offset, and we're going to throw the risers in there. And usually to find the center line of rail, it would be based on the size of the baluster. So if we put the baluster in there, 1 3/4 baluster, this would be the proper position for it, and lined up with the faceport and the riser. And that will pretty much tell you where the center line of the rail is going to be on the stairs. So let's put that in there, and now let's work on the bullnose tread. We'll offset that 10 inches, and typically I like to keep the tread reveal to the railing the same on the bullnose tread as it is on the stairway. The same amount of distance between the center line of rail to the outside of the return nosing. So let's getting in the wrong layer here. Let's plug our volute in and also throw in the bullnose tread lines based on these curves on our volute. And we get a nice match up here of you'll be able to see when those balusters go on. They'll follow the same reveal off of the nose all the way through on the bullnose. So that's how I like to set it up. I know it's a rare occasion you get to do that, but if it was up to me, that's how I would do it. typically I will, most of the time, make this volute exactly like this and plug it into whatever bullnose tread is there, and you get it um, never looking the way this does. Anyway, let's go and throw the rest of this drawing in, and we want to then do an elevation of this stair so that we can start working on our wreath fittings here. We've already got the volute drawn, and we want to take this to the next level here. We got our rail in 3D coming in here and stopping at our spring point here where the radius begins. Our wreath piece is going to go up 3 inches extra into the straight section from the spring point, so that's why this rail is stopping here. Alright, so now let's do an elevation here. I'm going to turn that one layer off, it's just distracting. Okay, so go to the top view and start with our stair elevation. We got a 7.5 inch rise on the stair and a 10-inch run. Pretty standard setup. So we want to get our handrail set up on this elevation at 34 inches. And we'd like to have the volute come in at about, finish at about 34 inches off of this bullnose tread. So let's get a plan view of our stair setup lined up with the nosings on this thing, and also throw in the handrail on there the way we have it set up in this drawing. Okay, we're back again. We're going to conclude this segment of the series on the volute, and the next time when we will get going on the wreath pieces, the 2 wreath pieces that drop this handrail pitch down to level in 2 sections. So that's going to conclude this part of it. I hope that you've been encouraged or interested in what's being presented, and if you are and you want to move on to the next section, I'm going to see if I can get myself together and make the next step. So hopefully we will see you soon. Thanks for watching.